Welcome to the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Enjoy the listening. The execution and betrayal. The Galactic Council chambers gleamed with a cold, sterile grandeur. The domed ceiling stretched high above, its crystalline structure refracting starlight into prismatic patterns across the chamber. Rows of alien delegates sat in ascending tiers, each representing a species from across the galaxy. The air was tense, charged with anticipation. As the focus of every gaze was drawn to the center of the room, Ambassador Elena Cortez. Bound by shimmering energy restraints, Elena stood defiant. Her dark eyes burned with a mix of fury and resolve, her disheveled uniform a stark reminder of her mistreatment. The accusations against her echoed through the chamber as a reptilian delegate, his voice sharp and cutting, recited the charges: espionage, subversion, and incitement of rebellion. A holographic display flickered to life, showcasing fabricated evidence, a falsified transmission implicating Elena in the destabilization of a vital trade hub. The delegates murmured, their voices blending into a chaotic hum. Yet Elena remained silent, her lips pressed into a firm line. She had protested her innocence countless times, but the Council had no interest in the truth. Humanity's pleas ignored. Light years away, in the United Nations Command Center on Earth, President Aaron Lee and his advisors watched the proceedings with grim faces. The holographic transmission from the Council chambers dominated the room, displaying every word, every fabricated claim. President Lee addressed the Council through Earth's official diplomatic channels. His voice was steady, though anger simmered beneath his composed exterior. Ambassador Cortez is innocent. We have provided irrefutable evidence that the accusations against her are baseless. We demand a fair trial to uncover the truth behind this conspiracy. But his words were met with scorn. A towering insectoid delegate hissed, its mandibles clicking in disdain. Humanity's protests are noted. It sneered, but the Council has already deliberated. The evidence speaks for itself. Behind the scenes, the truth was evident. Corrupt factions within the Council had orchestrated Elena's downfall, fearing Earth's rapid ascent as a political and technological power. The charges were a pretext to cripple humanity's influence in galactic affairs. Earth's pleas fell on deaf ears. The Council voted unanimously to proceed with Elena's execution, dismissing all evidence to the contrary. The gruesome display. Days later, in the heart of a Council-controlled planet, a vast public square teemed with alien spectators. Holographic screens projected the scene to every corner of the galaxy, ensuring no one could miss what was about to happen. Elena stood on a raised platform, her hands bound, her posture unyielding. Her executioners, faceless and cold, prepared the noose, a brutal relic chosen for its symbolic weight. As the countdown began, she raised her head high, her voice cutting through the noise. You may silence me, but you will never silence humanity. We do not forgive. We do not forget. The trapdoor fell. Earth's reaction. The broadcast reached Earth within hours, igniting a firestorm of outrage. Crowds flooded the streets of every major city, their voices unified in protest. Placards bearing Elena's image and her final words waved high. In the United Nations Command Center, President Lee watched the footage in silence, his fists clenched. The room buzzed with reports of global unrest, but one thing was clear. The people of Earth demanded action. The Council's arrogance had crossed a line. Humanity's leaders, reluctant to escalate tensions, realized they could no longer stand idly by. The Galactic Council had made its choice, and now Earth would make theirs. As the protests swelled, President Lee issued a chilling statement to the galaxy. Ambassador Cortez's death was not justice. It was murder, and humanity will answer murder with justice of our own. The gears of war began to turn. A new era of unity. The death of Ambassador Elena Cortez forged a unity Earth had not seen in centuries. Humanity, once fractured by political and cultural divisions, now stood united under a single banner. Across the globe, Protests transitioned into resolve, and governments pooled resources to respond to the Galactic Council's injustice. For the first time, the world's brightest minds and strongest leaders gathered in solidarity to craft a singular purpose: Operation Retribution. President Aaron Lee, now the symbol of humanity's unyielding determination, addressed the world from the United Nations Command Center. His voice echoed through every home, every city, and every colony. Ambassador Cortez's murder was not only an attack on humanity, it was an attack on justice itself. Today, we declare that humanity will no longer bow to the Council's tyranny. Today, we begin our fight for justice. Under the directive of Operation Retribution, Earth's leaders mobilized their most advanced military technologies and strategic minds. Scientists, engineers, and soldiers worked tirelessly, forging weapons and strategies to dismantle the Galactic Council's power. The resolve was clear: humanity would no longer play by the Council's rules. Unleashing the war machine, humanity's retaliation began with precision and efficiency. Fleets of stealth ships emerged from Earth's orbital docks, equipped with cutting-edge cloaking technology and AI-directed navigation systems. Alongside them, swarms of autonomous drones, engineered for surgical strikes, spread across Council territories. The Council supply lines, vital arteries that kept its member species connected and sustained, became the first targets. Within days, these networks were decimated. Cargo ships vanished without a trace. Space stations went dark, and trade hubs collapsed into chaos. Entire Council-controlled colonies found themselves isolated, their economies and infrastructure crumbling under the weight of Earth's coordinated strikes. Cyber warfare units, operating from secure bunkers on Earth, infiltrated the Council's communications and command networks. False orders sowed confusion among alien fleets, while critical data vanished or was corrupted beyond recovery. Narration emphasizes humanity's ingenuity, explaining how the underdog status that once limited Earth became its greatest strength. The Council's leadership was blindsided. Humanity had been underestimated as a young, inexperienced species, unfit for interstellar conflict. Now, they realized their grave mistake. The Council's shock. In the early days of the war, the Galactic Council dismissed humanity's retaliation as a fleeting nuisance. They believed Earth's limited resources and small fleet would be no match for the combined might of the Council's member species. But Earth's unconventional tactics shattered that illusion. The Council's massive fleets, designed for brute force and predictable engagements, found themselves outmaneuvered by smaller, more agile human forces. Stealth technology rendered Earth's ships nearly invisible, while cyber attacks left alien commanders scrambling in confusion. As the Council's fleets faltered, cracks began to form within their alliance. Member species, already discontent with the Council's corruption, began to question their leadership. Why had the Council provoked humanity? Was their alliance worth the cost of this relentless war? The price of war. While Earth's victories were decisive, they came at a cost. Alien counterattacks targeted human colonies and orbital facilities, resulting in civilian casualties and widespread destruction. Supply shortages began to strain Earth's population, with rationing measures implemented to support the war effort. Yet, humanity's resolve remained unbroken. Soldiers on the front lines fought with a determination born from both vengeance and justice. Civilians volunteered in droves, building weapons, coding new AI systems, and working tirelessly to support the cause. The spirit of unity, forged in the fires of betrayal, became humanity's greatest weapon. Narration underscores the sacrifices made by humanity, describing how families mourned their losses yet pressed forward, knowing that the fight for justice outweighed their individual suffering. Every victory was a tribute to Ambassador Elena Cortez, whose final words had sparked a revolution. The war was no longer just about avenging Elena. It had become a fight for humanity's right to exist without fear, to demand respect, and to ensure that no one would ever silence them again. Galactic chaos and humanity's message. Council factions crumble. The Galactic Council, once seen as an unassailable authority, began to fracture under the relentless weight of Earth's campaign. For centuries, its vast bureaucracy had masked a web of corruption, greed, and internal rivalries. Now, with Earth's unyielding strikes dismantling its infrastructure, these cracks widened into chasms. Key species within the Council, previously unquestioning in their loyalty, started to waver. Humanity's precision attacks had exposed not only the Council's vulnerabilities, but also the incompetence of its leadership. Trade routes vital to member civilizations lay in ruins. Entire colonies were isolated, and critical supplies vanished without explanation. The Council's response was disorganized and ineffective, fueling resentment among its member states. One by one, alien leaders began defecting. The first was the Valorians, a species of aquatic traders who had long relied on Earth's innovations to sustain their economy. Disillusioned by the Council's failures, they secretly offered Earth intelligence on key supply depots in exchange for protection. Their defection marked the beginning of a tide. Next came the Thalaxians, a technologically advanced race whose homeworld had been devastated by Earth's cyberattacks. Initially fierce opponents, they were swayed when human diplomats revealed evidence of the Council's exploitation of their resources. Thalaxian engineers, impressed by Earth's ingenuity, switched sides, bringing with them advanced weaponry and invaluable data on Council fleet movements. Narration emphasizes the ripple effect of these defections, describing how humanity's persistence transformed former adversaries into allies, each defection a blow to the Council's crumbling foundation. Exposing the conspiracy. Amid the chaos, humanity's intelligence operatives delivered a devastating revelation. Working undercover in Council-controlled territories, they uncovered encrypted transmissions and classified documents linking Elena Cortez's execution to a secret cabal of Council leaders. The cabal, driven by fear of Earth's growing influence, had orchestrated her framing to eliminate a diplomatic threat and send a warning to humanity. These leaders had falsified evidence, silenced dissenting voices, and manipulated the Council's vote to ensure her death. Earth wasted no time. President Aaronlee addressed the galaxy in a broadcast transmitted to every corner of known space. Ambassador Cortez was not a criminal. She was a victim of corruption and fear. We present the truth, undeniable and irrefutable. The Galactic Council has betrayed the very principles it was founded upon. We will not rest until justice is served. The evidence, presented alongside harrowing footage of Elena's execution, ignited a firestorm. Across the galaxy, oppressed species, long chafing under the Council's rule, began to rise. Protests erupted on Council-controlled worlds, and rebellions broke out in colonies that had suffered under their exploitation. The chilling ultimatum. With the Council in disarray, humanity issued its final warning. To those who conspired to murder Ambassador Cortez, your time is up. Surrender, or Earth will deliver justice by any means necessary. The message sent shockwaves through the Council's ranks. Panic gripped the Cabal members, who found themselves isolated as allies turned against them. Yet, fractured by internal divisions and infighting, the Council was unable to mount a unified response. Humanity's allies. Humanity's fight for justice became a beacon of hope for countless civilizations. Oppressed species that had once viewed humans as upstarts now saw them as symbols of defiance and resilience. Narration highlights powerful moments of solidarity. The Graxians, a nomadic race enslaved by the Council for generations, pledged their fleet to Earth's cause, their ships joining human armadas in daring strikes against Council strongholds. The Zalrics, an insectoid species whose hive colonies were exploited for labor, declared independence, inspired by Earth's refusal to bow. Their warriors, once thought primitive, proved formidable in battle. Former enemies and newfound allies came together to form a diverse coalition, unified in their determination to dismantle the corrupt Council. The narrator concludes with a powerful statement. Humanity's war was never just about vengeance. It was a call for change, and in their defiance, they inspired a galaxy to rise. The never-ending war. The fall of the corrupt leaders. The Galactic Council's corrupt leaders, once untouchable behind layers of bureaucracy and power, were now fugitives. Earth's relentless campaign dismantled their networks, exposing them to justice one by one. Crexon Moore, the insectoid delegate who had orchestrated the falsified evidence against Elena Cortez, was the first to fall. Captured on a remote moon, his trial and subsequent execution were broadcast as a symbol of Earth's resolve. Another conspirator, Chaska Veeler, a reptilian oligarch who financed the conspiracy, was hunted down on her private estate in a distant system. Human operatives infiltrated her fortress, delivering her to Earth's newly formed Shadow Court. Her capture marked the beginning of a systematic purge. The narration details the fates of these key figures, highlighting humanity's refusal to allow any conspirator to escape justice. There were no diplomatic deals, no pleas for leniency, only the unyielding pursuit of accountability. As each leader fell, the Council's power crumbled further, leaving it a hollow shell of its former self. A new kind of justice. With the Council's leadership decimated, Earth established the Shadow Court, a covert organization tasked with enforcing justice where traditional systems had failed. Comprised of elite operatives, cyber specialists, and former soldiers, the Shadow Court operated in secrecy, beyond the constraints of conventional warfare. Their mission was clear: track down every individual complicit in Elena's execution and hold them accountable. These agents became ghosts, striking without warning. They dismantled hidden networks, infiltrated enemy strongholds, and delivered justice with ruthless efficiency. Narration provides glimpses into the court's operations. A daring raid on a secret council enclave hidden within a gas giant, where a high-ranking conspirator was captured. A surgical strike on a distant station, housing records of the conspiracy, ensuring no evidence could be erased. The Shadow Court's actions sent a clear message to the galaxy: no one involved in the betrayal of humanity would ever be safe. The legacy of betrayal. Even as the conspirators were overthrown and the Council's power diminished, humanity refused to forgive or forget. The memory of Elena Cortez's execution had left an indelible mark on Earth's psyche. Trust, once extended freely to alien civilizations, was now replaced by vigilance. Humanity rejected any attempts to rejoin the Galactic Council or restore diplomatic ties. Instead, they forged alliances on their own terms, cautiously and with an underlying skepticism. Narration reflects on this shift, describing how Earth became a fortress, its borders guarded by advanced fleets, its people united in perpetual readiness. Elena's death had not only sparked a war, but fundamentally changed humanity's relationship with the galaxy. The betrayal had proven that peace could be an illusion, one shattered by corruption and fear. The war that never ends. Decades pass, but the war never truly ended. Open battles became less frequent, replaced by a cold conflict waged in the shadows. Humanity maintained its military presence across the galaxy, ensuring that the Council could never regain its former power. Surveillance drones patrolled space lanes, human fleets enforced no-fly zones, and the Shadow Court continued its relentless pursuit of justice. The narrator concludes with a haunting reflection. The war began with a betrayal, and though the betrayers are gone, the scars they left ensure the battle for justice will never truly end. Elena Cortez's defiance lit a fire in humanity's soul, a fire that burns to this day, ensuring that no one, alien or human, will ever dare betray Earth again.